Alrighty. Are we live?
We're live.
What is up, guys? This is the Unscripted Podcast. This is episode 10?
10.
Episode 10. I got a very special guest to my left. I got Alex Isola, little member of the Minnesota Twins organization. Give us a little what's up.
How's it going, guys? Glad to be here with my boys.
And to my further left, we got the usual Miles Coffee.
What's going on, guys? What is up, guys? Okay.
And we also still have Zach here.
Yeah.
He's just on the FaceTime today. Sorry if the audio is a little weird. We're just making the most of it here with the little remote stream.
Yeah,
And,
I'm in the Low Studios.
Yeah, the Low Studios with the AirPods.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
I'm like
right.
that. I'm built like that.
How we all doing today?
I'm good, man.
Dude, it's been a minute. And we just showed up. I haven't even really caught up with my boy here. So it's going to be lots of good conversation today.
Looking forward to it.
So what's on everybody's mind? Before we get into sports and all that, just how's life?
Not bad. I went out and I played some golf today. I played pretty well.
I did the same thing.
Let's
Yeah?
go.
Where'd you play at?
I played at Sierra View, I think. It's like
Sierra View, yeah,
my
in
coach-
Rockland
yeah,
or
my-
Roseville.
My coach is a member there, so it was really fun.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Let me just get your mic a little bit closer to you.
Get up in that motherfucker.
All right.
Yeah,
Up
don't be
close and
shy. Don't be
personal.
shy.
No, we're not
Yeah.
shy.
Now we're good over on this end. Thanks for asking, Dylan. I was just feeling a little under the weather today. Didn't want to bring it into the studio with these guys, but no, I'm chilling, doing good. Got the college basketball game on behind me, so
Playing it safe.
Yeah.
Who are we watching right now?
Baylor versus Illinois, and I'm a big Illinois fan now. So
Oh,
really?
gosh. Fighting
Yeah.
the Illini, huh?
All right.
yeah, fighting the Illini, bringing the pain, baby.
Interesting.
Come on.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll get to that, but I kind of just want to start off with a little background on Isola here. So he was like our little league carry. He was like
He's our
the
three-hitter.
god.
Goat.
He literally led the league in home runs.
Yo, we were a 1-2 punch though. Mike.
Yeah, I was cleanup hitter. I was
Don't
behind.
don't sell
Oh my
yourself
God.
short. Don't sell yourself short.
I needed you back there.
Yeah, no, I was there. Caught a lot of games. Caught a lot of weird ass knuckleballs. Didn't know where it was gonna go.
Yo, that was the end of my pitching career.
Hey, that was filthy though. That was some good times. And yeah, this guy stuck with it. Played ball at where'd you start that JUCO?
Yeah, so I went to University of Utah my freshman year.
That's right. That's right.
Bounced back to a junior college in Arizona called the Yavapai. It's out in northern Arizona. And then my junior year, I went to TCU. That was before I got drafted.
TCU, the Horned
Horn
Frogs.
baby. What's
Yeah.
that?
Yep, right there. That's for you guys. That's for you, Zach.
So I kind
I was
of
gonna say,
wanted
what
to.
is
Oh,
it?
go ahead.
Was it like this
No,
or like
no.
like it's like
That's
hook 'em
Texas.
horn?
That's
Yeah,
Texas.
whoa.
This is the Longhorns. It's this right here.
Oh, you just go two.
I
Okay,
like that. I like that.
okay. Nah, but he was at Jesuit High School too, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jesuit High School.
They got a history of MLB prospects back there at Jesuit.
Do they really?
Yeah, Reese Hoskins actually.
I was gonna
went to
say
Jesuit.
Hoskins went
Okay.
there, right?
Zach Green, Andrew Susak, JP
Wow.
JP Howell. They've had some serious guys out there. It's a cool little community, man.
Yeah, good culture there for
Yeah,
sure. Sweet. Well, my biggest thing is you went to TCU, and that's just got to be so crazy. That is a baseball school for
Yeah.
sure. How was that? Can you give us a little bit of the life of
Yeah.
playing for TCU? You were starting catcher, correct?
No doubt. Not to start the year.
Okay.
Had to earn my spot. I didn't start for about the first 2 weeks of the season. But like I always tell people, like school in the South, people really love baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Out here in the West Coast, like we love football, and people aren't as passionate, I would say, about baseball. Definitely, like people love the Giants and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But in the college level, like in TCU, we had such a good fan base, and like the place was always pretty packed. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. Like the facilities are unbelievable. Obviously.
You got televised games.
Yeah, so like we played, the Longhorns on ESPN, like stuff like that. But yeah, it was a great place to play, man. I really enjoyed my experience there. So
No doubt. Yeah. No, that's a huge honor. I always knew TCU, like they were always one of those teams. If they weren't in the College World Series, like they were damn near right there.
no doubt
Yeah.
they have a history of excellence, and it was definitely an honor to be at that program.
Oh yeah. So how was that? You show up and they don't have you as the starting guy. did somebody get hurt, or did you just start raking in practice one week, or what happened?
So I hit pretty well when I was there, but the guy that was there was a stud, Zach Humphrey. He was like a Gold Glover in the Cape. So I was coming into a situation just trying to do what I do, and there's only so much you can control, and had to play my way in, and I was ready for the opportunity. I always tell people like, you never know when you're gonna get your number called, and like early in the season, I started hitting well. He kind of got off to a slow start, and I took advantage of that, and that's all you can really do, So,
Oh yeah. Sometimes that's what it is with baseball. It's very streaky in baseball. It's hard to be a consistent. You're always hitting well. You're always on the top of your game. You can only do so much, kind of like what you said. There's only so much you can control. Zach, you got something for me?
Yeah, I was just gonna, because the ability to leave the ballpark now is like huge in baseball. No so doubt. Like if you have a guy who can poke it out of the yard, like you know what I mean, right. Once a series or something like that, everyone. So is that kind of your niche? Do you feel like you think, man, maybe if I can just put the ball out of the yard a few times, and get a few runs across, that's my like niche into, because you said this guy's a Gold Glover in the
right.
in the COD league. You were like, was in your head, you were like, man, because you've always been a power hitter. Geez, you almost broke my arm when I was 12. So.
Oh yeah,
we could talk about that later.
We all know what happened after that too. A little grand salami from me.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Sorry, James Sweet.
But so was that your mindset? Kind of like, man, I think the bat and like the being able to put it out of the yard is what I do really well. That's kind of where I can fit in.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always try to hit for power. And it's something that happens when you get a good pitch to hit. It's not something you can force. I think catching is a position that you have to be a defensive first. So, like, I had a lot of work to do on my receiving when I first got to college. So I had to work on that, earn the trust of the pitchers. There's so much that goes into that. And then the bat was always kind of there. And it's like, I struggled towards the end of the year, and like I talked to you the other day. But it's one of those things that if you can hit, like, you're going to find a spot. You know what I mean? Whether it's behind catching. And I just wanted to help the team win, man. And if it was at catcher, fine. But, I just wanted to be in the lineup. Selfishly you want to play, but ultimately it's not about you. I think that the name of the game nowadays is definitely, like, as I get into pro ball, like, to move up in an organization and make it to the big leagues, you got to hit for power. You got to slug. Those are the guys that are getting paid. You see the catchers getting paid nowadays. There's great defenders, but if you don't hit, the big free agent catching signings, you're going to see, like, Real Muto and these guys that hit the ball and hit it out of the park, they're the ones getting paid. So that's kind of what I choose to focus on. Although I'll say that, I mean, you guys know, you guys have played baseball. Like, if you try to hit a home run,
it's not happening.
It ain't happening.
Yeah. You kind of just, you rep your mechanics every day, and you hope that swing plays. And like I said, it's just getting a good pitch and letting it happen naturally. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's got to be definitely helpful that when you're catching, you're able to see these, like, you're seeing these guys at 92 or whatever they're sitting. And so that's got to help with hitting. I always felt like that at playing baseball. When I was catching, if it helped me just see the ball better in the batter's box. Do you think that still translates in the further leagues as you go on?
Oh, definitely. I feel like with off-speed pitches, I feel like I recognize them better. I'm able to, like, pick up spin. Maybe better than some guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because those are the pitches that are hard to hit. The fastball for me has always been something that I feel like you just got to be on.
Just reaction and just know where it is. Yeah.
But as you get higher, guys got stuff that breaks every which way. So that's the stuff that I feel like catching definitely gives me an advantage of seeing that all the time for sure.
That's sweet.
That's what I was gonna say. What's the difference? So, like, you played at a pretty high level in high school. Like, you played at a better high school in the area. Yeah.
Right.
What's the difference from that to, say, TCU and then TCU to where you're at now?
Right. I think velocity definitely increases as you go from, like, high school to Division I. Like, it's one of those things that, you go in high school, if you have a guy throwing 93, like, that's huge, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
versus,
everybody's striking out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then when you get to college, it's like everyone throws 93. Like, you're lucky to get a guy that throws 88. So it's one of those things that you get used to it. I think, like, as you get higher in the levels, everyone kind of has velocity in pro ball. Like, in rookie ball, guys throw 100, but they don't know where it's going. They can't really throw multiple pitches for strikes. So as you go up, it just gets harder because
they got more control.
Right, but it honestly is a little bit easier in some ways because guys aren't as wild,
Yeah.
And the lower levels of the minors, like, you got some of these kids from Latin America and even just young high school kids that throw really hard, and they have no idea where it's going.
They might skim it by your nose real quick.
It's an uncomfortable AB, so you're a little bit more comfortable as you go up because you're gonna know guys know where it's going. So
you're not gonna catch 99.
Yeah, at least you have the comfortable, and then it's at the point where no one's skimming it by your nose, because if they do that, then you're gonna be throwing at their guy, like because you know that they have the command. You've been playing the game well enough and long enough to know what you're doing. That's very interesting. Have you seen somebody throw 100 to you?
Oh yeah, I mean I've hit against 100. I've caught 100. You get used to the velocity. I think like over time with exposure. I always tell like people like, "Well, how do you do it?" It's like you see it so much. Like it like I said, it's not as hard with the velocity. It's the guys that can mix up timing and throw different off speed. Those are the guys
different leg kick and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I can't even fathom it. I mean, I remember like we would turn up the pitching machine up to like 88, 90, and it would. I mean, I would be lucky to foul tip it. So that's just crazy.
No, I think it's like you said earlier though. I mean, baseball is a game of failure. It's like I played golf today, and like Miles knows, like you just have days where you got to figure out how you can play with your B or C game. You're not always gonna have your A game, so it's like. It's one of those things where I try not to worry about how I feel that day. It's kind of like once I get in the game, like what do I got to do this pitch?
What's working today?
Right, like what's my job this pitch? Well, who's on the mound? What do I got to look for? So it's one of those things that you don't always feel good. Like we have machine days, and I feel like not very good some days. So it's like you just learn how to let those days go and realize that you can still play well even on those bad days. And that's where I think the guys. You really learn like the mental side of it, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so mental, and like baseball is so situational. Like you said, I like where you're just taking what your situation is. What am I supposed to do with this pitch? Is there a runner on? Like, am I supposed to go oppo or whatever you're thinking? You just have to take what you're given, because baseball, you're not gonna get your hot spot. You're not gonna get your middle inside fastball when you want it. You just got to be ready for it when it comes, and even if it doesn't come, you just got to be ready for that off speed and seeing the spin. I hated off speed in high school. I could not hit the curveball for the life of me.
They're not fun. They say the best way to hit it off speed is hit the fastball.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So,
I remember facing Rad from Placer.
That's I played summer ball with him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, one of the best guys. I love him. But I mean, he was the fastest I ever saw in high school. But you know how he always struck me out was just throwing his curveball, because I was sitting fastball like, oh, I gotta be ready, and then he would throw the curveball, and they scouted me. I was like seventh hitter, and they just knew, just throw him the curveball, and he's gonna absolutely buckle because he's sitting 88, and it's hard enough to hit 88, and then you do that to me, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, that happened to me in college. I mean, it's funny, like there's so much information now with the technology and data that in college, like I got off to a really hot start at TCU, and then towards the end of the year, no one threw me fastballs because I just hammered fastballs. So I had to figure out how to, hit sliders and things like that. Everyone was just throwing me slider to slider. So I think it's one of those things that like it's like anything. You adjust, you make an adjustment. I feel like the game is always going to throw something new at you, so you can't like think you have it all figured out. You always got to be learning, and that's just part of the game. You have to learn how to be resilient, man, because like I said, baseball's so hard. Like, I used to like really beat myself up all the time. Like when I'd have those over fours, I'm naturally like a self-critical person. So I've just learned how to like kind of not be up or down, just stay in the middle. Like even when I have a good game, I'm not super confident because the next day you got to face a guy that might be throwing 100. So like, that's why I say you focus on what you have to do that pitch, the game plan you guys going with, and that's all you can do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The results are gonna come and go.
I've had that. Go ahead, Zach.
Going back to TCU, kind of. So, like, this is not kind of what we were talking about, but so you're thinking like in the clubhouse of TCU, like, are guys thinking like, okay, I got to improve my stock, like I gotta improve my stock to go to the next level, or I got to do this, or I got to do that? Because I know sometimes to relate it to basketball, when I was in JUCO, and it was kind of like, where are my stats at so I can get picked up next?
Yeah.
Was it ever like a people, or you don't have to name names, but is there like I have to get to the show kind of feel?
No
when
doubt.
you're there,
I think I was a victim of I allowed that noise to get in my head at times, and what I found is that if you put the team first, and I didn't have this realization as much when I was there, but as I reflected on a lot of my experiences there, I realized that a lot of the pressure I put on myself to like try to like you said, every guy thinks about it, whether they admit it or not.
You got a lot of egos once you hit that
right,
D1 college.
Right. But I think the guys that are able to have success in those high pressure situations and able to improve their stock, like I said, keep it simple and focus on the task at hand. Because like for me, I would go into these games like I gotta play well today, or this is a big game, like and I would take away from what my job is that day, and so sometimes my focus wasn't where it needed to be, and so I mean our coaches did a great job, like I said, and I maybe didn't buy into this as much at the time, but looking back now, I appreciate it. Is like they always reminded us of that, you know, and it's just guys choose not to listen to us sometimes, and so it's definitely like in the back of your head, but you have to, like I said, focus on, you know, the team, because that stuff takes care of itself. Like I said, if you're doing your job and you're doing what you need to do, you're hitting, you're doing your reps, like that stuff comes like naturally.
You can't flood your mind with the extra. It's just task at hand, and that's that's you're keeping one goal at hand, and you can't worry. I really like how you said, you know, don't let the highs get too high and the lows be too low. We kind of touched on this last podcast where like people that have really good success, they don't just celebrate that one. They win, like LeBron wins one championship, and he's not just happy with one.
He's looking on the next.
Yeah, he's consistently.
Brady's the same way. Like I think it's one of those things where to be a master at something, you have to have the mindset of a beginner. So like for me, like because I've just had so many experiences where like, oh, I figured it out, and I'll get humbled immediately the next day, and so it's like, damn, like you know, I just each day is a new learning experience. You use the information you got from yesterday to have, you know, more success, but you're always, like I said, like you said, LeBron, Brady, these guys, each year they evaluate how they did and they go, okay, where can I get better? They're looking for that 1% to like take them to be like even better, you know. So if those guys are doing it, why wouldn't I have that same mindset, you know? But you have to have that humility. You have to have the ability to be grounded enough to say, wow, I don't have everything figured out, you know, and that took me a while to develop, but it's key, because if you don't have that, like I said, baseball is a game, like you'll see something in the game that you haven't seen ever, like that's just how it is, like you know, and so you might as well stay in the middle instead of like, oh, I got this, and just just what do you have to do today? What is the situation asking of you? And then do it. You know what I mean? It just makes it simpler, and you don't get caught up in the emotion of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then you can really analyze like your success. One baseball story that comes to mind is like Terry Holt, the guy that was on the Twins. I think there was a story, and I was just watching it. I can't quote the show that I saw it from, but I think he hit a home run to center field, and he was pissed, running around the bases, and the coach asked him like, "Dude, like what's wrong?" And he's like, "I wanted to hit that to right," and he was just mad that he literally like he knew he could have pushed that, and he had an objective in mind, and it doesn't matter that he hit it out. He didn't meet what he was trying to attain, and so like that's a beautiful thing, because you always got to do that. Just in life, you have to look at, you know, maybe I caught a break in that success, and I still need to alter what I'm doing in order to actually attain my goal. Well, you guys know this too. Like, you can do everything right, like be on time for a pitch, hit it so perfectly, and it's right at a guy. Or like, you know, so it's like if you focus on the result, then you're going to be upset all the time. But like if your process was good and you did everything you could on that pitch, then I can hang my hat.
Yeah.
And it's hard to develop that mindset. It took me a long time, because the game is results oriented. That's what's tough, is like you're judged on your performance, but as a player, you have to realize that the concept that I like to introduce is like what you can control and what you can't. Like you can't control improving your stock if scouts like you, if this or that. All you can improve is your craft, putting up the numbers that you want to put up, and those are the things you focus on. Like I used to care so much what this person thought, or this coach thought, or this scout thought, and this GM or whatever, and like really it doesn't matter. Like it's outside of my control, you know what I mean? All I can control is how my work ethic, my attitude, and like I said, the time I put into to working on my craft. And once you kind of have that mindset, the other stuff doesn't really matter.
You can drown it out,
it comes and goes. Like the results are gonna come if your process is right. You know what I mean? You just have to be patient.
Would you say like, because you're saying you at TCU you didn't have this type of mindset that you got now, and like you're sounding wise beyond your years talking like that. Would you say? I mean, I don't want to skip the draft process part, but I'm kind of skipping ahead to minors.
Go ahead.
Would you say like okay, I was in a Big 12 baseball locker room. I was getting anything I wanted. I don't even know what your locker room looked like, but I imagine it was amazing and beautiful.
It's unreal. We had the best. Like we had, I wouldn't say the best, but we had as good of facilities as you can get. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
And then so you're going from that to like a minor league locker room, and I imagine it's not as good as TCU.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So was it like a minor league like, okay, I'm not the hot shit right now. I am a guy in the minor leagues. I'm not the starting catcher for TCU. Was that where you saw your mind shift? Or
No, I think
like
JUCO. I've always been okay with grinding. I kind of like junior college was like that for me. I know you probably relate to this, Zach, but like junior college was like, hey, you don't have much, but like the guys just are hungry. You show up like okay, like you know, you work way more than you do because there's no restrictions on practice stuff. So like, all you do is work on your craft, you know what I mean? And so I think it wasn't as much that, it was like the mindset came from, and this sounds tough, but like came from failure, dude. Like I started failing, and so the point was like, you know, I wasn't used to failing, and so like I had to figure out like what was causing that failure. And you know, like I said, a lot of it was, you know, the biggest adjustment for me was the mental game. Like that's where I felt like the growth has happened. Like I was telling you the other day, like it's one of those things where, you know, I used to train my body, I'd hit, I'd throw, but I never trained my mind. You know, like in baseball, like everyone has negative thoughts, everyone has positive thoughts, but like thoughts are really like they come and go. So like like I said, I try to focus on what do I have to do this pitch, and like we were saying, the result, it happens, you know. But so yeah, I think the mental game and just it came out of failure, bro. Like not having the success I wanted, and instead of being like poor me, whatever, I was like, okay, like, well, why is this happening? And it was coming from me, like when I got the starting role, and this is where I want people to know and learn from my experience on the listeners, is just like when you work really hard to get something, you can't take the foot off the gas. Like as I got the starting spot at TCU, I would say that I always work hard, but I didn't work as hard when I was trying to get the spot. When I got it, I took the foot off a little bit, and I saw the results start to not happen.
You kind of catch yourself like, wait.
Right. And so that's where now, and if you listen to all the greats that we look up to, it's like, you know, they're never taking the foot off the gas because they're always trying to grow. You know what I mean? So it was out of failure, bro, if I'm being honest. Like, you know, I had to figure out a way to get past it, so.
It's got to be crazy though, like, you know, like Zach's point when he's bringing up, you know, the locker rooms, and then baseball is so weird because you become this hot shot, you go to D1, you finally make it, right? And then you get drafted just to go all the way back to square zero. You're back to games, I mean, not saying nobody cares about, but no one's watching single A baseball, you know, no one's even watching double A or triple A really. And so how does that feel to like, basically, you work your whole life to make it to the bigs, and then you're really, really, really close, and you're back almost at square zero. You're kind of just playing ball again, just to prove that you can be that one to be back on the real big stage. How is that, like, just environmentally and like just lifestyle? How is that reverting back from D1 baseball? Everybody, a bunch of fans there, and then you're back to minors. Where it almost, I mean, it's not a step back. Obviously, it's a step up, a much higher step up. But lifestyle-wise and everything, it's kind of a step back. How is that?
I think, you know, I'm a big believer that, like, you can't have success without failure. You can't have, like, the good things in life without struggling. So, like, for me, like, I appreciated JUCO, or I appreciated TCU way more because I went to junior college. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see,
like, kids that went to TCU right out of high school, they'd never been to JUCO, so they take the facilities for granted. Like, I lived at the facility, dude. I lived at the cage, like, because, like, it had everything I needed. I had ball feeders that would just pitch to me. I could catch for hours. I could work on my craft. I didn't have that at JUCO. Like, I had to beg my teammate. You know what I mean? So, the minor leagues, like, as much as, like, it's a grind, I'm not going to act like it's not a grind. I do truly love the game. So, like, it never feels like a job to me. Now, there's days my body hurts and, you know, it's a long season. They don't call it the dog days of summer for nothing. But at the end of the day, I truly do love the game. And so I have the mindset of like I have to go through these trials and prove myself at each level so that when I get to the big league level, I stay there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys can make it, but it's really tough to stick. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's where like
you'll see guys come up for like 3 games,
Right.
and then they're back.
Right. And so that's where I think, I don't look at it as a step down. Like I love the game, and I think it's all a part of the journey and the process. You know what I mean?
And that's beautiful. I mean, that just sounds like the right mindset of a big leaguer because it's like you said, that's what these greats are doing. They're always looking for more to improve on.
I think
so it doesn't bother you at all though that like, that people aren't watching as much or anything like that. It's just you love the game and that's awesome.
I play it for the reason like I said, and I think it does help to have perspective, right? Like, there's I play with kids from Venezuela who haven't seen their family in 3 years.
Wow.
And so and baseball for them in their country is like an escape. You know what I mean? So like when they go to the field, like they go home in the off season if they can. They play softball. Some of these guys had no shoes, so like on those days where like you might not feel good or you don't want to play, like those guys never have that because the game is like it's like
that is their
release.
Out,
you know what I mean? Like it's their outlet, and so like if I ever feel that way, then like something's wrong with me. So I don't, as much as like you want to be at that top level. I'm not saying that I don't want to get there, but I mean I'm happy like genuinely playing the game, like even wiffle ball outside. You know what I mean? Like you play because you love it, and I think you have to have that. And guys that don't have that passion or that love, they burn out because they're doing it for the wrong reasons. To truly have like sustaining success, I feel like you gotta love what you're doing.
Yeah, no, that is awesome, and it's got to be motivating when you see these guys come into the league or come into like single A ball, and they sling it or they can hit like crazy, but they don't have anything back home. Money wise, financially wise, like that's got to be a huge motivator because living in America, it's different. Mom can afford a bat. You can, but then some of these guys, they've made it all the way to the very same spot you are with maybe much less of those like amenities of life that we have. And so that's so huge because you got to see how hungry other people are, and like you have to internalize that, and you can't fake it either. It's not something you can just be like, all right, I'm going to come out and I'm going to be more passionate. You got to just actually be about it.
Exactly.
And that's just hard to do. I can't say I could have done it myself.
I mean, I think, like I said, you always have to be striving, but you do have to be grateful for where you're at. You know what I mean? It's like this weird, like, because if you're not appreciative of where you're at, like, you're not going to ever make it because you're so upset with where you're at. Like, it's like when you set a goal, you know what I mean? Like, if you always are focused on the goal, you realize you're not there. But when you focus on, okay, these are the steps I got to take to get there, like, you appreciate the steps because then when you hit that goal, you're like, damn, I did this. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go through those steps. Like, there's really no shortcuts. Like, I was one of my favorite guys that I got to see like work in camp is and MLB's done a ton of specials on him that people can check out, but Nelson Cruz is like one of those figures that you see and you're like, man, like, and you just watch him go about his business. He takes no days. He's doing something for his body every day he gets there. He's got a specific routine, and this guy was like, he had to earn everything he got, and he's doing it at age 40, and there's no secrets. You know what I mean? Like, he puts in the time. He hits twice. He's a DH, so he hits twice a day, every day. Like that's what he does. So I mean,
he shows up to rake.
Right. And so that
you could have picked any other player for Dylan, but you had to say Nelson
you
Cruz.
had to say Nelson Cruz. You had to say the guy that blew my
Boston
World Series.
World
Oh,
Series.
that's my bad.
No. He is a great example, and still to this day is a remarkable hitter. I'm not sure what he was doing in right field 3-2 when Neftali just decided to freaking give up that hit. But hey, kudos to David Freese. It's all good. We've moved on.
That was tough.
1 year. It'll be 1 year. It's probably not going to be next year. We're probably going to be bottom of the AL West again. Because you Darvish, what happened to him?
He's gone. You don't have him.
We don't? See,
No,
that's how much I haven't even kept up.
Yeah,
he's been
you
gone.
don't
Where
have
is
to
he?
be a Rangers. You don't have to. He's on the Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You don't
right.
have to
Oh,
be-
I knew
you don't
that.
have to
I
be
knew
a
that.
Rangers fan. You just
No.
take a break.
No,
Take a
I
break
did.
so you get-
I had to, dude. I couldn't even watch the team. It's just it's sad.
I got a kind of a funny question from the chat on Twitch.
All right, what we got?
I think they know Zach. His name's Trademarks on Twitch.
Trademarks.
They said Zach Lowe, but anyways, they said, who's the best high school baseball player between you three minus Isola?
Ooh,
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go
me.
easily. Miles
Me.
raked in high school. I mean, Zach
Sorry,
Zach should have got more shots.
Yeah, if Zach had more opportunity, I feel like he could have shined.
His focus was
Yeah.
on basketball though, and he
hey,
stuck
I
to
could
that.
sling it. I could sling it.
That's true. Zach said fuck it and he was almost a reliever in what, D3 baseball this year?
Hey,
Oh, dude, I walked on. I
you would have
went in.
been. You 100% would have
Yeah.
been. COVID ruined your baseball career.
I could have maybe been on the Twins, man.
That would have been something to see, right?
Nah, I would say Miles for sure. He had like 2 or 3 home runs on varsity. You hit like what, 4 freaking 15 or 410 or something.
Yeah.
380s.
Something like that.
Yeah, that'll play.
Oh yeah, and he speaking of reliever, Miles was a huge reliever in our
Oh,
section
yeah?
championship run. So yeah,
Nice fucking 78 from the right side, baby.
yeah, he was that guy.
Hey,
Hey, if you could pitch
it's tough to hit 78 from the right side in Lincoln, bro.
Zach had some. I mean, the pitching though. We should have got you in there more because you had that
Wow.
change up, dude. You still got it.
You're telling me. If
Yeah.
you ever need to
Someone
catch
needs to
anyone,
be
Alex,
fired.
if you ever need
Hey,
some live, I
I'm
got
not gonna
you.
sell
If you ever
myself
need some
short
live.
though. I still got honorable mention all league.
Sorry about
Let's
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, those were good times.
Glory days, bro.
Yeah, real good times. We won our sections, so hey.
Twice.
Started yeah. You
I
guys
kind
got
of want to
you
go
got
into
2 of
the.
them.
I want to go into the draft process a little bit because
Yeah,
I feel
let's
like,
get back
All
into
right,
it.
yeah, let's do it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I was a buzzkill right there,
No,
but
do it.
No, get back into it, bro.
I
No,
actually
so,
enjoyed
like-
talking about your guys' high school career because I grew up playing with you guys, so but I wasn't there for that stuff. And
Oh, yeah,
I
dude.
never won sections in high school, so I
It's
got
damn
to
hard.
see you guys win one. I think I was at one of them in high school. I came and watched.
Oh
you guys.
yeah, you probably saw our junior year
Yeah.
because that was out. That was in SAC, right? The one.
Was it
Zach,
the
so
second one or the
your
Lodi
senior
one you
year.
went to?
I went to the Lodi one. I'm
Okay,
pretty
so
sure.
it was your guys' senior year. It
Oh,
was the
Yeah, that was our
okay.
senior
Then yeah,
year.
you went
That
to
was our
ours.
senior
Oh,
Eli pitched,
sweet.
right?
You s-
I went to that one.
yeah,
I
he saw me make the play, dude.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
I was warming up.
Yeah,
Yeah, Zach
Really?
was-
the guy that was
I was
going to
warming up.
UW almost freaking hit it right over my head. Dude, that was
he did.
okay. Before we get back into the draft process,
No, do
this
it, do it. Tell the
ball.
story.
Okay, I'm in right
Tell
field.
the story.
And I'm tall, but like this man hits a line drive and it looks like a low line drive that I might even have to like slide in catch for up front. But I just severely misjudged how hard this guy hit this ball. And it's actually a good way behind my head. And so I take a few steps back and I'm like, I realize because it was such a low drive, I'm like, okay, I got this. But I made it look like it was I made it look bad, I guess, because I had to jump for it, and I caught it and threw it into third, and the guy didn't tag, none of that. But everybody, I mean, I come in, and I'm like, yeah, it was a good catch, but it wasn't like I saved the game, and everyone's just like, dude, you're fucking nuts.
Dude,
like, what is going on?
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I was warming up in right field, so the bullpen is in right field, right on the line, right next to Dylan, and the ball hits the bat, and Dylan takes a step
I take
forward.
a first
and then
step in.
All
Number
I
one
hear when
rule,
I'm-
you're not supposed to do that.
all I hear is shit, and then he turns and he snags it, and I'm like parallel with him, like in the same line as him, and I'm like, holy
I
crap!
probably did drop a shit right there. I
No,
was
you
like,
did. I heard it.
whoa.
Yeah, I heard it.
I remember being in the stands. I was like, okay, Munch has got that. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's a
Wait,
lot
does he?
farther than he thought. And then he turned around and catches it. I was like, holy shit. Okay, Munch. Okay, you saved that one.
Yeah. That was,
Dude, we
that was
might've-
definitely the highlight of my career right there.
Lincoln High School would have done some Rick Pitino paying under the table for Alex to come
Oh,
freaking
dude.
be on our team.
Dude, we really
Jesus.
should have.
We would have moved some
We should have
funds around,
gave
bro.
we should have done the Sean Miller at Arizona. Just
Yo.
give him a little something. something.
I would have loved that. I was so killed to go suit up one more time in Little League, bro. Those were the times.
We should have had it. We
Hey,
played.
man,
We did.
I'm not the
I know I
one-
played Field of Dreams with you once out in was it Mather or whatever? Manteca. That was a great tournament.
Yeah, Zach, if you need to throw bullpens, bro, just let me know.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm good
you.
whenever.
It's off
just
season,
let me
bro.
know.
So I'm on you.
That's light work for him.
Hey, Alex, why don't you tell the story about we're tie game, Granite Bay, bottom of the sixth. You put down a curveball for me to throw against your buddy Darren Baker.
Oh, whoa! Are you pushing the blame to him?
I already have.
Hey, I didn't call the pitch. I just threw it.
Wow!
I just threw it.
Oh yeah, dude, you hung that baby. I was on first base.
That's on me. I'm actually gonna wear that one because like
you should, not me. You should.
Darren caught up to a fastball. Like he can hit a fastball, but I don't know.
I think he rolled his bat before the game, dude. I think the cork was ready to fall out after that freaking hit, dude.
He must have hit it 350.
Dude, I was on first base, and I didn't look at that ball. I stayed face forward.
I didn't look either.
I stayed face forward, and I knew it was gone. It was 400 feet.
Yo, the one game we played Little League, Munch, probably you hit the farthest ball I've ever seen.
Oh, that was the first game against Lakeside. That was off a daily.
That was the same game.
Yeah.
Oh my!
That was the same game.
Like by this much, and then you just went. I was like, oh my god.
The bat flip.
The bat flip.
Had to pump for the crowd.
Dude, that year was so much fun to watch you guys because everybody on that team could leave the fucking yard.
Oh yeah.
It was like you, Mulaney, fucking Isola,
Zach's voice.
Zach.
Zach, what? Hit one off the yellow?
Yeah, yellow.
You know me.
But man, yeah, we had a lot of power hitting there. I think only Zach and Hav couldn't leave the yard.
I was the ace. Sorry, I was the ace.
He was a PO.
Yeah, we just needed to get you one at bat, and that was enough, dude.
Oh no!
No, I'm
Stop
joking.
That.
I'm joking.
Stop that! Stop
Disrespect.
That's cold.
All right, let's get. What were we gonna ask, Alex? Zach?
Oh yeah, draft process. All right, let's hit that.
Oh yeah, so season's over. I guess let's pick it up. Let's pick it up from there. Season's over.
Yep.
You're a junior. You have the opportunity to come back, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what's going through your head?
Obviously I want to sign, dude. It's been my dream since I was like a little kid. You know, I used to think about it all the time, like every day, damn near. You know, so it was you know, at the time, like I said, like I was honestly a little disappointed just because I felt like I could have got drafted higher than I did. But, like, I was so excited at the same time. Like, it was, like, a mix of emotions that day. Like, the draft process is so crazy. Because teams only get a certain amount of money to sign all their picks, right? And so 80% of that money is going to the first 3 rounds, right? And then they got, you know, however much money is left over to sign all their picks. So it's a business, man. Like, and like it's that's where sometimes the game, like, people can get burnt out. Like, it's a shady business. Like, it's like any other, you know, there's winners and losers. And so ultimately, like, it was amazing. Like, the feelings I had were cool because it felt like, you know, I had worked so hard and it was finally going to happen. But I had thought about going back too, just because, like, I didn't, after a certain amount of rounds, I was like, damn, like, am I not going to get drafted? Like, maybe I'm going to have to go back to school. So, like, that went through my head. Like, it was just such a crazy day.
Yeah, roller coaster of emotions, I can imagine.
Yeah, like, seeing that pick, though, like, when I saw it on the thing, I was like, wow, like, you know, it was great. And so far, the Twins have been a great organization, you know, and I've had every opportunity to succeed. And so it's been good, man. But that day, it was like, it was crazy.
You just want to see your name pop up. You're like,
Right.
When are they gonna call my name?
Right. It's all the nerves, all the emotions, you know. But it was ultimately it was cool to see because I'd made a lot of sacrifices. I felt like, and you know, a lot of hard work, and you know, and it paid off. And so I'm just trying to keep it going. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, big congrats on, you know, making it thus far, and we know you got big things ahead. Yeah, there's still a hell of a lot more to go, and I know we're all rooting for you out here in Lincoln.
I know you guys are my boys.
Oh yeah.
Always.
What round did you get drafted?
29th. So there was like 40 rounds, I say. So yeah, it was a blessing.
So you were waiting there. You were like,
yeah, it was a lot.
You were thinking, I might not get drafted. I might be going back.
Yeah, those thoughts definitely cross your head. I mean, it's one of those things where, like I said, I you know, it's such a crazy process because I could have probably gotten taken earlier. Like, so rounds, for people that don't understand, like rounds 7 through 10, like you see a lot of seniors go. Like, so seniors in college who sign for like $1,000 to $10,000, so they're getting nothing. You know what I mean? So because teams save money those rounds by picking seniors, so that they can sign maybe a kid that they really liked from the first 5 rounds, but just couldn't give them the money, and so they try to save money in those rounds so that later. So like, there's kids that sign. You'll see a kid go in the 17th round that signs for $600,000. You know what I mean? Versus then you'll see a kid in the 3rd round get 200 and he gets underslotted, but it was like a pre-draft deal. So there's all these things that happen that like people don't understand. So like,
so as like a college senior, you don't have as much leverage, but as a junior you do, because you could say, I mean, piss off, I'm going back to school.
Right. And so it's one of those things that it's known, like, you never get more money your senior year, like, unless, I mean, you have to be like the pitcher of the year. Like, there's been a couple guys that have gotten big money as seniors because there's so much interest, but like it's really hard. But I'll tell you this, like, no matter what round you get picked in, you have a chance. And so I don't feel bad for, you know, like, I don't see myself as like, oh, I'm a low round guy versus this guy. Like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I have equal opportunity, you know, and I'm given every opportunity. So it's on me, you know. I don't feel like this guy has a better chance than me, or this guy, even though like it might be a little bit harder, like, I don't feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel blessed to be able to have the opportunity. I mean, that's all you can really
it's no slouch at all.
No doubt.
No matter where and what the situation is. I mean, just to see your name get chosen by a professional franchise, that's all you're really going for. You know, at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot more you can ask. There's very few, you know, these guys are 5-star recruits and they're drafted top. I mean, you're talking top percent of people, and I mean, just for your name to get that kind of outreach, you got to be so lucky. Right. I mean, you could be the, you know, a crazy guy in Dominican Republic or Venezuela, and you might be a low round guy just because your name didn't get out there or whatever the case may be.
No doubt.
So yeah, I mean, that's it, you're there, you're right there, and you know what you got to do to move forward, and definitely got the mindset for it. That's some good stuff, man. And you can apply this stuff to just life in general.
Oh,
like,
I always tell people, like, baseball has set me up, and it's any sports. Like, that's why I think sports are so good. Like, even if you're not interested in sports, it teaches you so many lessons that apply to life, like you're about to say. Like, I mean, all the failure I've dealt with, the adversity and the injuries and the ups and the downs, like, it's taught me, you know, if you set a goal, you work hard, you make sacrifices, you can do the things that you want to do. You know, it just takes that work, and then you got to believe in yourself, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And you only start believing in yourself once you put in the work, and, you know, it's just repetition. Like, it's like Miles knows, like, playing golf is like, the more you swing, the better you get. You just start to feel things, and you get that experience. And so, ultimately, like, you know, people can do it. Like, I'm not some freak, like, that came, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that anyone can really do what I did. It just, you know, like, there's people that are way more talented than me, you know what I mean? But, like, the work ethic and the belief in yourself, that's really where, like, the separator happens, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen guys in college. I don't know if you know of any specific people, but I'm sure you saw some guy that was extremely talented, and he's probably already fizzled out. He's probably already not even drafted, or he did get drafted, but he's already out.
So I had a roommate. This is a good story. So my roommate, his dad pitched 10 years in the big leagues, Dennis Cook. So his son was Asher. He was my teammate at TCU. So his dad always tells me this story about David Eckstein. Okay, he's a little infielder back in the day. You remember that name, Zach?
Dude, Zach loves David Eckstein.
Okay, you'll love this story. Okay, so he tells me that they go to spring training, and I think he was with the Angels at the time, and they're on the backfield of spring training doing their PFPs and bullpens, and he sees this little dude taking ground balls at short, and he's talking to one of the pitchers. He goes, "Yo, whose kid is that out there at short?" And the pitcher looks at him and he goes, "Dude, that's our starting shortstop. That's David Eckstein." And he goes, "Are you kidding me?" So, like, the point of the story is like, this guy didn't have, like, he always the point he told me was, like, you know, this guy didn't have a lot of talent, but had a 10-year plus career in the big leagues. So there's guys that are way more talented than him. He, for whatever reason, and I know probably, I would guess, I don't know him personally, but I would say his work ethic and the way he believed in himself allowed him to get the most out of his talent. You know, guys like Dustin Pedroia, Jose Altuve, is like, you can do it. It's not easy, but it's doable, you know, versus like you said, there's guys that
had all the talent
in the world, but, you know, they're not willing to work, or they're not willing to make the adjustments that the game demands of you. So
like a name that comes to mind in pro sports is Kyler Murray. Like this guy, I mean, everybody, me included, was thinking he should really just stay with baseball. He football, it's just not going to work. I don't care you win the Heisman. Look at this guy. He's too small, and he's really breaking the barrier. Like he's kind of like Russell Wilson kind of started it, but he's leading that even more so, to the point where, you know, you can be a really short quarterback and you can still be successful. You know, I don't know, I maybe rank him like he's in that like top 12 quarterbacks right now in the NFL. And I mean, you just look at him and you're like, there's no way this guy plays in the NFL, let alone quarterback. And so that is, and him being a baseball player too, he knows that grind. He knows that like mental, just the mental fortitude it takes to get there. And then for him to you know, bet on himself and say, I don't care. Football's always been the sport I love. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play quarterback. And, you know, look at him now. So
I think the attitude you have to have is like, everyone's going to try to put you in a box, tell you what you can or can't do. And it's like, you have to have a lot of courage, because like a guy like a Murray and the Wilsons, like they have, you know, it's easy for someone to say to you, hey, you couldn't do that, because they don't have the balls or the courage to go do it themselves. You know what I mean? But like, to go put yourself out there and to take that chance, like, I feel like you got to take risks in life, and it's more of a philosophy thing for me. But like, you know, you don't get, whether you play it safe or you risk it and believe in yourself or don't, like, you end up in the same spot. Like, if you fail, at least you know in your heart, like, oh, okay, I didn't make it, but it was I didn't let someone tell me I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I tried, and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? And that's where I think that I have a lot of respect. I look up to guys like that have the courage to say, like, oh, I mean, you tell me I can't do it, like, okay, I'm gonna go try and do it. Like, just because you said I couldn't do it doesn't mean I can't. But if I really can do it, then it's on me. You know what I mean? And that's where I think, you know, you find out a lot about yourself, that you can do those things. But you have to have the courage to try.
Because you could go when you're like a guy like Kyler. You know, he probably watched Sports Talk. I mean, I hope he just didn't watch Sports Talk, but I mean, there were so many people that were just saying this guy can't do it, and he had to just drown out. And I'm sure people say that to his face. You know, he's just walking down the street, and someone could probably talk some shit to him. And it's like, you have to just drown out those voices and just accept the fact that you're gonna do you. You know, it's not up to them. It's up to you, really. And they can count you out, but that doesn't mean you count yourself out because of that.
No doubt. I think you gotta, like you said, like, if I was him, and I know for me, like, I used to read, when like I was at TCU, this draft article about me, and then like now, like, it's all irrelevant. Like, what's, like I said, like, if you perform, you're gonna get paid. If you do the job, you're gonna. So like, all what someone says or not, it doesn't matter, you know. So like, why would you? But if you like buy into it, you know.
It's like that the Derek Jeter scouting report. There's like that famous scouting report where it has all these just negative things, like, oh, his arm subpar, is bad.
Look at Tom Brady, dude.
Yeah, Tom Brady. You know, these guys, they're not expected. What you got to say about Derek Jeter?
Why you always got to bring up Derek Jeter?
I'm just talking about the scouting report.
Zach is the biggest fucking
He's
Derek
a hater,
dude I've ever met.
He's like, he's a Skip Bayless to LeBron. He is Zach Lowe to Derek Jeter.
Hey, the flip. That's all I got to say. The flip.
He proved you wrong, dude.
Kyler should have came and played for the A's and been the next Ricky Henderson.
Oh, I mean, he still can.
Yeah, I was about to say, he still could.
Hey, we're going to accept him with open arms.
What if he just wins a chip or two and then comes over to the A's? I wish he would just like Deion Sanders it and just go throw 3 touchdowns on Sunday.
That's the most
and show up on Monday and just rape.
Yeah, literally.
Like, imagine being Bo Jackson and you're like that gifted to where you could be at the highest level of 2 sports, like Hall of Fame quality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's absurd to even think about.
Yeah, I mean, and Deion, he wasn't the greatest baseball player, but like that's the best cornerback of all time.
Oh,
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like he was on the Braves. Wasn't he on like a New York Yankees World Series team?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not World Series team, but like he was on the Yankees at one point. Like I just can't fathom that. You're on the Dallas Cowboys and you're on the New York Yankees. Like what? Yeah. That is just remarkable. That is unheard of.
But like I said, like those guys probably never. People probably told them their whole lives, you can't
do
that,
it. Yeah.
But they
can't do it.
I'm gonna see if I can, and they did, and so.
Never got complacent.
You gotta have people like that, and you can develop that mindset. You just have to surround yourself with people. If you got people telling you all the time that you can't do it, you gotta get those people out of your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's just like negativity spreads. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's contagious. Like it's both ways. Positivity is contagious, and negativity can be contagious too. Especially in baseball, I can't explain it, but there's just something that goes on where like a guy will hit a double and you could be no hit to the 6th inning. A guy hits a double and then all of a sudden you guys put up 4 on the board, and it's like it's that feeling, that camaraderie of we can do it, we got this. Football, like playing high school football, I always felt that a lot too. Where if we just we just need one good play, we need one first down. And we can flip this whole game on its head. And sometimes it really does happen. Sometimes it doesn't. But you as long as you have that belief and you have that with the man you're right next to, good things can happen.
No doubt. I think people don't understand like I said, it took a lot of failure for me to like get into this stuff. But like the power of the mind, like if you think negatively going into a situation, 9 times out of 10, what you don't want to have happen happens. You know what I mean? So like the studies behind like if you think negatively all the time, you're gonna be unhappy and you're gonna not have the results you want. So you have to like force your mind to think about positive outcome. It doesn't guarantee you success.
No.
But it gives you the best chance. Because like how many times you gone up to the plate or like I'm probably gonna K here. Like you're at the tee box. You're like, man, this swing feels awful, and then you just you shank. One right.
Oh, dude, I had the funniest. So today, like I was playing with my buddy Hunter, and he's like the biggest fucking head case I've ever fucking met. So like he'll have days where he's like, oh, I'm gonna go out and hit the ball great, and he'll go shoot 3-4 over, and then like he'll have days like today, like literally on the first tee box, he goes, dude, I just feel fucking weird today. Like, I don't know how I'm going to fucking play. He shot like 95. And I was like, dude, you just got to get out of your own fucking head and think. Because he's like literally walking up to a shot. He's like, I'm going to shank this. And I'm like, that's a great thought. And boom, shanks it. I'm like, dude, if you just thought I'm going to go up and fucking hit this and hit it, you're probably going to be way better off than trying to negatively think yourself into something before you even do it.
Yeah. The combination of your mind and your body, it's like, it's not as separate as it seems. It really is. When you have it in sync, that's where you're really tapping into something.
You're gonna be fired up.
But it's true. In sports,
right.
there's nothing more. You don't see it any more clearly than in sports when you have the perfect, like a Michael Jordan. He had an amazing body, but the mind and the body were combined so effortlessly to where, I mean, it's just greatness.
Think about it this way too. Like, think about not even just sports. I would challenge you that you can see it in other like the Albert Einsteins, these Thomas Edisons. Like these people saw things that were impossible, and then just found a way to do it. But it took that optimism to like do it. If they didn't think they could do stuff like that, like find these equations, invent the light bulb, like they had to have that belief first. Like you don't just have success and then you believe in yourself. You have to figure out how to believe in yourself, and then the success comes. You might get lucky every once in a while, hit a good ball. Yeah. But like, in golf,
exactly.
Like you get lucky, but if you don't know like why that happened or you didn't believe in yourself when you did, like you're not gonna have continued success.
Yes.
You know what I mean, you're just gonna get lucky.
Yeah,
that makes me kind of think. Just like how we're all bagging on Danny Green in the finals against the Heat because he couldn't make a shot.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And it's like Danny Green, he didn't lose the ability to shoot the ball. Like, he didn't just wake up one day and the Monster stole his talent. Like, that doesn't happen to people. But, like, the thing with the mind is, like, I remember I went through shooting slumps, too, and it's the same thing I imagine when you're at the plate going through a slump. It's hard. Your mind is – it's like when you – like, oh, damn, I hope I don't get the ball so I don't have to make this – like, I don't have to be the one to shoot it kind of thing. And, like, that's cool. That's the thing with the mind and body is it can easily go one way as it is the other, like the negative thoughts that you were saying.
I'll take it a step further, Zach. So, like, I want people to understand that your brain is naturally negative, right? Like human beings evolved to like survive. Like if you didn't have fear or any of this, like they took the amygdalas out of chimpanzees, which is like the fear center in your brain. Okay, and they died within 24 hours because they'd walk off a cliff. They had no sense of fear, right? So we need those feelings. So those aren't bad. Those negative thoughts, that's your body's way of trying to protect you that happened from thousands of years of trying to evade predators and adapting and surviving. So once you're aware of that, you realize, like I said, and this is where like when you're in a slump or if you're in a shooting slump or a hitting slump, like I said, don't try to, and this is where, like, I'm all about being optimistic. Like, you want to expect good things to happen, but you don't want to force positivity. If you don't feel good, that's okay. Like, don't try to lie to yourself and be like, oh, I feel great today.
Yeah,
right?
you can't fake
that makes
it.
it worse. Yeah. It's more just, like I said, like, focus on what you have to do. And that's, like, the present moment and the mindfulness it takes to, like, be like, okay, I feel like crap right now. It is what it is. What do I have to do right now? Like, okay, I got to get the ball and get my shot up quick, or I got to be loose in my release, loose and quick. So if you put your brain there, that's what you're going to focus on. That's what you want to have happen, right? But if you start to, like, pay attention to the negative voice and realize, like, but you also have to accept that voice because it's always going to be there. Like, I don't want people to think that I just, like, am positive all the time. Like, I go through those that doubt and all of that. It's like how I view it now, though, how I'm able to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, those are the tools that I never learned in school, bro. You never learned in they don't teach that. So you have to like
learn it by doing it.
Exactly. Experience. And so, because it's easy to get trapped in that negativity and positivity. Because if you're overconfident, you will get ignorant and not do the things you need to do. Like if you're too confident, you'll make errors too. Like that's the thing. You'll try too hard sometimes or try to force things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I like you know, the military does a good job of like, what's the task at hand? What's the mission we have to accomplish? And you know, that's what they focus on. They're not focused on whether they can't get it done or whether they believe they can get it done. What's the mission? What do we have to do? And they go do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think there's like definitely a big misconception of maybe people that aren't as successful, or they look at other extremely successful people and they think that like they're robots, or like, man, they just have it. Yeah, they were just born. Yeah. Oh, he's just built different. No, there's none of that. Like you still get those down days. You still get those negative feelings, and you just have to view it differently and work past it. And you know, that's just where a person that's unsuccessful and maybe unhappy, they're missing the point.
Right.
And everybody has to experience that. Nobody's just a robot. Like Elon Musk isn't just a robot who just wakes up every day just so he could, you know, get his net worth up 50 million more. He has bad days too. Everybody does, and everybody has to work past it. And it's like what you said. It's how you view it versus, you know, just letting the negativity flood in and then just giving up and giving in. And
okay,
you can see that happen, but you want to stop that if you can.
Like, it's okay to be, like, if your dog dies, I'm not telling myself, like, this is great, or, like, trying to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're sad. It's okay to be sad. Like, that's normal. Like, but people sometimes nowadays, they want to feel good all the time. There's this view in society that drives me nuts. They're like, oh, we should be happy all the time. I'm chasing happiness. It's like, no, like, life's pretty hard. Like, it's really hard. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff happens. Bad stuff happens to good people. There's bad things in the world. So it's like, it's okay to be sad, but like you said, you can't get crushed by it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You gotta take the losses like a champion and move on. But stay in that loss, but don't stay in it too long. Accept it and then move on. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. It's like if we could create a dystopian society where no one ever felt bad, kind of like where the chimpanzees, you know, they never could feel fear, then you would never have happiness.
Right.
You would never have.
You'd have a bunch of NPCs, bro.
Yeah, you would literally have NPCs. It would be, hi, how are you today? And they'd only have one voice line to say right back to you.
Hi, I'm great. How are you? Hi, I'm great too.
Like yeah,
fuck that.
So like I agree with the society point of this feeling of everybody needs to be protected every 5 seconds, or everybody needs to say that they're feeling good. They got to be posting on Instagram, showing off, you know, this, that, and the other. Even if they might be having a bad day, and they're just doing the post because they feel that they need to based off society, and like that's where you're missing it.
Did you guys watch the Social Dilemma? on
I
Netflix?
haven't. I've been told I need to watch that though.
Yeah,
It's
I haven't watched it, but
crazy. Basically, just like
Yeah. What's the gist?
it's like ads. You know how like when you like, oh, I want new golf clubs, and then
And they
ads
just show
pop
up,
on your
yeah.
phone,
Yeah.
or like you scroll through YouTube or something, and you're like thinking about a video, and it pops up or something. Like these people are so good at what they do, and it's depressing. Like you shouldn't be happy all the time. Like that's
No.
not a thing. Like you said, like. You know, it's just you wouldn't appreciate summer without winter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I think, you know, I think you should chase meaning. You know, like if are the hard times you're going through worth it? You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I don't know, but the social dilemma is crazy. Just because like the technology they have nowadays, like you have to be careful on Instagram, dude. Like and TikTok is like absurdly addictive. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can spend hours going down rabbit holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's absurd.
And-
so.
And it's like those companies, they don't care. That's another thing you have to realize as a person living in this 2020, you know, what's it called? I was going to say, oh my gosh, I can't think. Like this, you know, like the multiple universe
like,
dimension.
yeah.
In this 2020 version dimension,
reality kind
yeah,
of,
like
yeah.
you have to keep that in mind that it's kind of like it's on you to keep that in mind, because Instagram doesn't care how you feel. They're just gonna keep
They're gonna shove
throwing
shit in
more
your
and more
face,
and more
yeah.
and more,
Yep.
and you'll see those bullshit, you know, positivity posts that aren't even like positive half the time. They're just like filled with meaningless words that, you know, might have you smirk for a half second and then you move on with your day.
Well, and that's the thing.
And you
I
might
think-
even feel worse after that.
I think as a society, we're so obsessed with instant gratification too.
Yeah.
Like there's no, oh, I did this, and this, and I accomplished this, and now I'm happy. It's like, where can I click a button and I'm happy right now? Like, oh, TikTok, that's funny. Okay, scroll to the next one. That's funny too. Oh, okay, let me go to Instagram. I follow a bunch of shit that just makes me happy. So it's like, no one ever really goes through, like, I'm sure there's people that are on there like, I want to see depressing shit all the time, or I want to see this. But that's
No,
the thing.
there
Like,
is.
you have your whole mindset go down those rabbit holes because you just keep repeating the process over and over again, whether it's happy, sad, neutral, whatever it is. Everyone wants everything right now. Like,
and
look,
I think the apps can be good. Like,
yeah,
you just have to be aware of that. Because like for the longest time, like I was never aware. But then you see stuff like that, and you're like, okay, because the apps have done a lot of good. You know, like you stay connected with people that you might not see all the time, and like there is some good, but like the bad is starting to see. Like you said, it's starting to get more. It's more heavy than the good, basically.
Yeah. The
Like,
more involved you get with it, you kind of start to see the problems. You got something for me, Zach?
No, I was just, it's crazy that we're talking about this right now because the college basketball that they have on ESPN right now is like the Jimmy Valvano Classic. And Jimmy V's the guy, he had cancer, won the championship at NC State as a coach. And then he gave that powerful SB speech. And basically he was just like,
I haven't
every
seen that.
day-
Is it good?
oh, dude, it's,
I'm gonna
oh,
watch
dude,
yeah. There's a 30 for
You need
30
to
on
watch
them.
it.
It's really good.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you need to watch that speech. It's incredible. I did it for a speech class
Say
2
less.
years
I
ago.
want it.
He says if you every single day, he was basically diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he's like
Right.
4 months into his diagnosis, and he's like, and he gets on the stage and he's like, every day, if you just laugh, if you spend some time in thought, and you cry and you have emotions, like that's one hell of a day. So it's kind of like the thing where you guys are talking about with like just you can't be happy all the time. Like you're supposed to feel these. Crying isn't, and like being sad isn't like some anomaly. It's something that we all feel every day.
Especially as men,
So, like-
dude. Like, I
Yes.
mean,
Dude,
like
yeah,
men in
big
our
time, big
society,
time.
like the
Big time.
strongest men I know, like, are able to cry, like you said, be vulnerable, like do these things. Like the guys that are insecure because they haven't been vulnerable or like you said, show those emotions.
Yeah.
They're easily targeted, and when they get hit with adversity or like someone challenges them, they just instantly get defensive. I used to be like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and I
yeah.
think that you know, like I said, I kind of came to this through like just failure and being at a dark place. But like, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to realize, like, you know, we're all struggle, we all suffer, and like, you know, that's what, you know. But it's a beautiful thing because we can empathize with one another and lift each other up, and you know, and you gotta have that, man. But I think it's interesting that you talk about. I think if you think that like you have unlimited days left in your life, like that guy, for example, like he gets diagnosed
Jimmy
with cancer,
Valvano,
right? it hits people like, and it's fascinating to me. People that have like near death experiences, right? They like realize that like life is really short. Like we always think, and I used to think this all the time. Like, oh, I have plenty of time to do this or do that, and it's like you don't know. Tomorrow you might not wake up.
Nothing's guaranteed.
And so sometimes you should keep that on your mind. Like I'll think about that sometimes in the mornings, like, and it makes me go do what I love doing or what I know I need to do with a little bit more energy, a little bit more sense of like urgency. Because like if you just think you have unlimited days, then you're gonna catch up. You're gonna coast, you know what I mean? But when you realize,
you pop in the cage the next
right,
day. Yeah.
And that's why like some of the people that I've met that have experienced death in their families or seen it, you know, like I had 2 teammates die in junior college from, you know, overdose or fentanyl and cocaine, and it's one of those things where when it hits you that close, you realize like, damn, like life, you know, your decisions, like you, life isn't, you know, forever, you know what I mean? Like we're all gonna die, you know what I mean? Which is like. So take advantage, you know, enjoy life. Don't sweat the little things, you know.
Yeah. You know, like all this society talk and how it can affect people. And, for, you know, for sometimes some people it's for the worse and it can't be reversed. You know, someone that comes to mind is Juice WRLD. I know he's kind of like a meme sometimes. But, you know, he really, I think that last album that came out postmortem, I just wish he was still alive to this day so he could really internalize what he's saying, because I think he really was catching on to something. He was starting to realize, like, you know, these Percocets, yeah, sure, they might have made me and they made my career, but they're also going to take me, you know, like, it could be the most simple principle, and I think, like, I honestly think he was starting to figure it out for himself, and I think drugs really ruined his career, because had he not, you know, been flying around with drugs, you never know. Yeah, he has so much talent. I mean, he would have been bigger than Drake if he just kept going. And it's sad because you let that societal pressure take over you, and, you know, that's someone who deep down, like, when you watch his interviews and you watch him just talk about life, you know, what a great spirit, you know, just energetic person. He really had a lot to offer, and it wasn't just, you know, his you know, rapping about lean and rapping about drugs. That postmortem album, he's talking about life. Like, he's talking about things that everybody can relate to, and not even someone that's just, you know, going through sad times. Maybe it was like a happy song. And I think, like, it's too bad to see some people, it's just too late. And like we said, you know, you don't know if you have tomorrow. Oh. And so it's a crazy thing.
Because you try to numb yourself to reality.
Yeah.
You can't appreciate, like, and I'm talking about, like, people that come from, like, extreme trauma and are using drugs to, like, try to get away from that.
Yeah.
It makes it to where, like you can't be happy without them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that's where, like, some of these people that are battling with, like, drug addiction and stuff, like, you gotta realize that, like, you know, you get done with the drug and you still got to go face life. So you got to learn how to be happy.
Yeah, you can't.
Without the stuff.
You can only run for so long, but at some point it's going to catch up.
Yep.
But you're right though, dude. It's sad because that guy was so talented, dude. I love
immensely talented. I love his music, and I still stream it, you know, to this day, you know.
Sure.
And everybody from our generation will remember who he was, even if you didn't listen to him a ton, because of his story. And you know, it is just too bad, but at the same time, there's a lesson to be learned there. And I think everybody who was close to him, you know, that will live with them for the rest of their lives. And hopefully they can learn and grow from it, because even in his death, he has so much to offer if you just listen to his music, you know, watch an interview, even some of his freestyles, you know, just and plenty of musical artists do this, where they're actually tapping into you know, meaning, chasing the meaning versus just making a pop song. And he did a great job of both. You know, he made catchy songs, but then he also made songs where it's like, oh, he actually, like, damn, that's actually not, you wouldn't expect that out of a guy who just he says, lean with me, rock with me, do drugs with me, get high with me.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't expect that same guy to be like, blowing your mind about something, about some real shit.
Yeah, some real life shit.
And that's what kind of like Jimmy V was talking about with you gotta laugh, you gotta enjoy, you gotta have some enjoyment in your day, you gotta cry, but you also gotta think. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like people sitting there, you gotta spend some time of your day thinking, and like I don't know, it's really how Alex, you're talking about like your failures and made this. Like you have to dwell on those failures. You have to think about those failures. Those failures you didn't just be like you said, we're not overly happy all the time. You can't just flush down the failures. So it's like
they make
yeah,
the successes sweeter, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like
you got to.
they make them sweeter.
Yeah, and like I don't know, just the fact of putting your brain power to something and processing it. Like you're saying, Juice WRLD is saying stuff that we think about. Like just the fact that he put in the thought of making us think, kind of thing. Where I don't know, it's really cool to think about. Like every day, it's these simple things.
You got to spend some time alone with yourself. Like people don't understand that a little bit of silence with yourself. You need to listen to what's going on in my head. Do I like what's going on in my head? You know what I mean? Like, because I think a lot of people are battling with themselves all the time. And I go through this. Like, you know, if there's a bad story, there's a story you tell yourself about yourself since you were a kid, or you had something that was wrong with you. Like, you know, you don't have to believe that story. Like, you can evolve from that, you know. But if you're not aware of I'm having those thoughts, then you're just going to keep playing that story over and over. And that's going to be your life.
Yeah.
And so I think I challenge, like my big thing, I started getting more awareness of like all the stuff we've been talking about when I would, you know, either go on a walk and okay, like reflect, like you said, like take some time for reflection. Like that's key, dude. Cause like, especially like if you're trying to get better at something like a golf swing, or you're trying to improve math or whatever, like, you know, you got to reflect on, okay, this worked for me today. Oh, this didn't work. Okay, because if you don't do that, then you just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. So that reflection is a key. So you brought up a good point. I'm going to have to watch that 30 for 30.
I'll send you the link after the show. It's really good. Really good.
We've had some good, you know, like actually some deep talks today. I like the principles we're going over.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't really gotten this far in like the intellectual of life. We kind of always kept it sports or just like life, but we definitely gotta keep this up. I don't know if viewers, you guys are feeling this, but
yeah.
I mean, this is good stuff. I feel enlightened.
Yeah, that's probably my
bad. Just through talking about it. No, it's
there.
not your bad at all. Like, I think it gets us all thinking about it, and anybody watching, I mean, anybody can take at least something from this, and I just think it's a cool thing that we're doing right now.
It's also it's like we're talking about, this stemmed off from baseball and like your mindset going in from a slump. Like this stuff is intertwined in everything we're doing every single day.
Who you are on the, like, one of the quotes I like is like, who you are on the field shouldn't be different than who you are like off the field. You know what I mean? And that's something that people should take like at their jobs or whatever they do. Like, you know what I mean? Like who you are, whether you're in the service industry, whatever you do, like you should be the same person, like in and out, and like it all is all intertwined. You know what I mean? So
it's facts.
I think I become a better player once and like I get better at stuff when I get better as a person. You know what I mean? Like that correlates. Like people don't understand that. Like if you're like, look at all the famous athletes that fell. Like, you know, did you guys watch the Tyson fight?
Yeah.
Like that's a guy that, you know, he was at the top of his game, but because he had so many personal issues, fell. Like all of those people fall. Like I'm not saying that some of them sneak through the cracks, but like, you know, you gotta be a good person first and foremost. You know,
like who is his main competitor? It was like Lewis, or what's his name? Lennox Lewis.
Evander Holyfield.
No,
talking about Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Back in the day.
Back in the days, like starts with an L. I don't know, but
Larry Holmes.
I don't know. I'm not sure who it was. I'm bad on my fighting, but what I know is lots of people looked at some of his main competitors, and at the end of the day, those guys are still looked at as possibly even a better fighter than Tyson. Now, was Tyson the most feared? Yes. Was Tyson, you know, maybe the most talented? Yes. But did he keep his greatness throughout his whole time? Not really.
But what's beautiful is like he came back.
He definitely bounced back. He's a good guy right now.
Followed his career. He's made some personal like lifestyle changes that have like made him a better person.
He smoked some DMT with Joe Rogan.
Dude, I was gonna say that Joe Rogan interview.
Sorry
like,
to cut you off, but
you kind of really realize how much he really evolved as a person outside of boxing. Like, he has his own podcast now too, but like, just if you see his interviews when he was in his prime versus him in his interviews now, he's like understands that he was literally a completely different person then. Yeah, and now he like.
And not even necessarily who he wanted to be.
Exactly. Like, he's grown so much as a person now that he can look back and go, I was fucking crazy. Like, I was straight up fucking crazy. I wanted to kill people in the ring. Yeah. And now he's like, okay, I needed that mindset to be as good as I was, but it also fucked me up completely outside the ring. Like, everything outside the ring fucked me up. He went to jail. He had all this crazy shit going on outside the ring. And then now, just like the personal growth, he can look back and see, okay, I needed to be that way for this, but it also hurt me in my personal life now. And now I think he's kind of realized I can be a better person and still be a badass fighter.
Exactly. And that's why we love Tiger, man. We love the Tiger story.
Yes.
Michael Vick.
Yeah, we love these stories.
I watch him on FS1 all the time.
Because we can all relate to that. Because we
really can. Like,
we felt like, damn, nothing's going right, or I suck, or something. Like, and then you put your head down and you just wear it, and then you get through it, So like we always glorify those stories because that's the beauty in life, dude. You can always rebirth yourself and come out of some heavy stuff.
Life's all about the like second, third, fourth, fifth chances.
Yeah.
We like Tiger and Mike Tyson. They're like these mythical beasts. Like there can't be anything wrong in their lives. Like, they're the greatest, they're the best, they're this and they're that.
They got all this money, like, they got this,
they got this. It's just crazy. And the Tiger story really is, because I mean, he had some shit going on with himself. Like, Alex, what you said, like, we all have shit going on with ourselves to some degree or another. So it's like, I don't know, it's to see these guys persevere and then later on in their career recognize it and grow from it and address it. They don't run away from it, they address it. And they see how far they've come. It's a great story, and it's great to see. It really. They
realize it's a stepping stone in their career. It's not a knock on them. It's more of a I grew from this, and this is how you guys can kind of do it too, almost.
No doubt. You got to talk about it, man. Like I said, like, I'm all about being vulnerable, especially as men. Like, it's one of those things where, I mean, I used to be like, don't show emotion, don't be weak.
We all did.
You're soft, and it's like you burn out. You become like. And like, you're paranoid, like people are gonna find out you're not as tough as you are, like, and you start to like but when you are like, some days I'm not that tough, you kind of laugh about it, and you actually become tougher. Like, it's like it shouldn't be that way, but you are, because you're able to like relax a little bit.
Well, dude, like, even like, and you all knew me in high school, like, I was the biggest fucking douchebag you guys probably could have met. Like, I thought my shit didn't stink, I didn't care, I was this, I was that, whatever. And then, like, that was also to, like, my huge detriment because, like, I went from, like, we played high school. I went and played at ARC right out of high school, a little JUCO and SAC.
Keeping that same mindset?
Yeah, and it was, like, I got here and I was like, okay, all these guys can play. All these guys can do this. And it, like, set me back in my head, like, it really fucked me up. Like, I'm really not as good as I thought I was. I'm not this, I'm not that. And, like, I was literally there for, like, 2 months, and then I just mentally couldn't handle it. Like, I couldn't handle being in college and going to play baseball right after and having the 6 a.m. weights and doing all that until after that I like stepped back when I was done at ARC and was like, okay, like, I need to figure some shit out on like a personal level. Like, it's not even baseball, it's not school, it's not this, it's like within my own self. And now the shit, like, looking back on it, the shit that used to piss me the fuck off, or the shit that would rub me the wrong way, or even make me feel great, like, I now realize, like, that's why I felt like that, or this is like, I'm not saying it very well, but like, it just kind of made me step back and realize now, like, okay, that doesn't piss me off anymore because I'm not thinking that way anymore. I don't feel this way anymore.
Yeah, you change your perspective.
Yeah, 100%. It, like, fucking rocked me straight to my core. I was like, okay, like, now I need to figure out who I really am, like, because that's not who I was.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of learn from that and grow on it. And
yeah, and we all have our douchebag moments, like,
you gotta forgive yourself.
Everybody
exactly.
has to move on and turn that next chapter.
Because, like, I think for the longest time, like when I was going through my failure, I was so hard on myself and I couldn't make any progress. But you have to understand that, like we're all talking about this, like, we all go through this. So, like, once you forgive yourself, then you can make progress. But if you're just so down about it, it's hard to come out of that. So you first gotta, like, realize it, like.
And even if you're constantly looking for, like, the answer for it, sometimes there is no answer except stepping back and going, okay, I feel this way because of this, or even if it's like I just feel weird straight up, like you just got to accept like, okay, some days I'm going to feel weird. Some days I'm going to feel like shit. Some days I'm going to feel like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
so
back to
hard to cut
basics
yourself
thing.
some slack. It's so hard to cut yourself some slack, dude. It's tough. Like you were saying, Alex, that your mind is naturally negative. It's just so hard to cut yourself some slack in those moments to where it's like, I went 0 for 4 today. I'm the worst fucking player on the face of the earth.
Right.
Like, nah, man, cut yourself some slack. Everyone has an 0 for. Everyone has this. And it's the hardest. It's such a simple thing to say, but it's a really hard thing to do. Is to just cut yourself some slack.
That's
man.
why I think you got to think about these things. Like, we're all talking about this right now. Like, people, I mean, for the longest part of my life, I never thought about shit like this. Like,
Yeah.
It was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going great today. Hell yeah. I'm going bad today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was
Yeah.
like, there was no, like, reflection like this. So I think that's where, like, I want people to know, like, you got to be aware of this stuff and talk about it. And, you know, for me, like we have a sports psychologist in our twins organization. And, like, I talk to her all the time because, like, you know, people don't understand, like, you got to open up. You got to talk to people. You got to get different opinions about stuff. And then you realize, like, man, everyone's going through some shit.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And it makes your problems a little bit less bad. And then you can, you know, okay, what can I do about this? You know what I mean? But,
Yeah, and I don't think this could, in a times like this, during the pandemic, everybody, you see anxiety going through the roof. You see people getting on prescription depression pills through the roof. All this, you know, these are the type of things you need to walk yourself through. Even if you need, you know, if you need the medication or you need some sort of outside help, like, that's okay. But you have to mentally walk yourself through the basics, and it's so hard. But that's why something you said earlier, you got to surround yourself with the right people. You have to not let those people that are negative to you, because you can surround yourself with the best people, and something negative will come up, and you just got to be prepared for that. Because, I mean, in a time like this, everybody in America, whether your net worth is $1 billion or your net worth is nothing, you're feeling this right now.
oh, for sure. I think you got to be okay to ask for help, man. I for the longest time was like, I can do this on my own. I can figure this out on my own. And so I closed opportunities that would have presented myself because my ego wouldn't let me ask for help. When if I would have just been humble enough to say, I can't figure this out, I need someone that knows a little bit more to help me with this, then it would have made my life so much easier. And so people think that you're weak if you ask for help.
Yeah, like, oh,
weak
you're
if
soft.
I was just about to say, like, as a society,
Yeah.
they look at men as like, you guys can deal with your shit on your own. Like,
Right.
you don't need to open up to somebody. You're just supposed to be tough. Like, get through it. Get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's like, you know, like, I'm fascinated with, like, the military because these are people that, like, see humanity at its worst, and a lot of them come back and have PTSD about stuff like this. You know what I mean? And so but then there's people that come back and, you know, are able to have amazing lives, and they actually appreciate life more because they've seen humanity at its worst. So those are the people that, like I said, they ask for help, though. They're able to talk about their experiences.
Yeah, it's not like they just figured it out. They
No.
didn't just wake up and be like, all right, I don't have PTSD anymore. Like, they still had that flashback, you know?
100%. But they talk to people. They realize, okay, other soldiers are going through this. Okay, I can be brave. I can handle this. Like, it sucks. It's not easy, but, like, I can do this. You know, I have people counting on my family, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to be vulnerable, man. It's scary.
Something that comes to mind, like a Kid Cudi. He had to, like, literally check himself out into, like, a mental rehab. And, like, man, if you hit the wall, you're doing drugs, you got all this money, you got anything you could want, all the instant gratification you have at the tip of your fingertips. But he had to humble himself and realize,
And he still wasn't happy.
yeah, I'm still not happy. Like, I still need to check myself in and, you know, get somebody to get me right. And, you know, it's going to go public. You can only hide that for so long as a celebrity. And it's like, kudos to somebody that can humble themselves and do that. And I mean, dude, people that are diehard Kid Cudi fans, they didn't stop becoming his fan because he checked himself in. And in fact, I think if anything,
It grew.
it grows your fan base. It gets someone like me who, honestly, I was never even a huge fan. And, like, now I listen to his music and I almost can relate to him even more so because of that. And that is such a it's the ways of life. Everyone finds it at different times, but just like that's where you're starting to get it, is when your humility is at that point where you can recognize your faults, and you may be at the lowest point where you literally have to check yourself into a mental rehab, but that's okay. And he's clearly bounced back. I mean, I haven't kept as much tabs on him specifically, but everybody can bounce back from these sort of troubles and trials.
And I feel like the first step in that for a lot of people is realizing they're not the only one that feels that way, or they're not this, because everyone gets into that dark hole like,
that's
I'm
my mind,
fucked
dude.
up.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah,
yep.
exactly. Whether it's like you have ADHD and you just can't focus on shit, and then you're like, oh, this is something that everyone else, that a lot of other people deal with, or even if it's like coming out of the closet, like I'm gay, and it's like something's wrong with me because my family hates me or whatever, and then you realize you have this whole community, or like literally anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I feel like people also are so goal oriented with shit. Like obviously it's good to have goals, but if you achieve all of those goals, like if you were like your main goal, the only way you're going to be happy is I'm going to make the big leagues. Like once you get there, you're still not going to be happy because you're going to be like, oh, I made it, but all you were looking for was that one goal. Now you got to find out, what's my next goal? Is my next goal to be the best ever, to do this, to do that? Like people get so set on one thing that they want to accomplish that once they accomplish that, it's like, okay, now what do I do? And then that's when they start spiraling like, okay, yeah, I made it. Yeah, I'm talented. Yeah, I'm this, but like I still feel like shit. I still feel bad. Like people have their own battles going on and like everyone else looking from the outside, like being a fucking billionaire, millionaire,
like,
whatever.
Oh, boo-hoo, dude.
Bro,
yeah, exactly.
There's a great quote for this. The journey's greater than the destination, because the reason why, like you said, the goal feels so good is because the work, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
it's
then-
your
but
journey
then
to it.
You set a new goal, like you said, and I don't know, dude. I just think that's super important. Like you were saying, man, is just never stop, man. You know, and like for my career, right? Like even if I have an amazing big league career, baseball's like, hopefully, right? Like God willing, but like baseball's such a small portion of my life. So I gotta figure out how to be happy, like without it. You know what I mean? So if I can't be, and that's where like, people gotta realize like your family, your friends, those are the things that really are important. The people you love, even if you don't have a lot of family or whatever, people that
you
love
surround yourself
that's
with.
what's important in life. Like, and that's been a big change for me. I always told myself, I won't be happy if I don't play baseball, and I'm getting there to where I'm like, honestly, I got my brothers, I got my family, I got friends like you guys. Like, if I have all that, like, because you could get in a car accident tomorrow, and your baseball is no longer an option. But I got people around me that love me, and that's all I need. You know what I mean?
And it makes it that much easier to just focus on your goal, because it's like you know what is actually making you happy. No doubt. So now you can go chase that dream.
Right.
And
if you fail along the way, you're not devastated.
Yeah, I was going to say, if shit hits the fan and none of it works out, you can fall back and you're still going to have this great support system behind you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of thing with retired athletes too, is like we were talking about how all these professional athletes go broke when they're not in the league anymore.
We did tap on that last podcast.
But it's the same thing with mental stability too, because I had the same thing because I was playing basketball my whole life. Then all of a sudden it just got stripped away from me, and then COVID started. So the hoops closed down, everything closed down. I couldn't even touch a basketball anymore, really. So like, I definitely felt like if you put all your effort into this one sport, and when it's gone, it's like culture shock. It really is.
Yeah, because your identity's tied up in it. You're like, I'm a baseball player, I'm a basketball player. When really, like, no, you're a person first. Yeah. Like that's just what you do. You know what I mean? Like you separate your job from who you are, or your hobby from who you are. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who you are is like who you are to your family, who you are to the like.
Yeah, because none of us are looking at you and like, Alex, the baseball player. It's like, no, it's Alex, our bro that we grew up playing with, or Munch the rapper, or the whatever you're doing, or Zach the fucking you're about to go be a coach, like Zach the coach. Like, it's not like we look at.
We could touch on that if you want, because our conference just canceled the basketball season.
What?
Today they just canceled the basketball season.
So you're not going out there anymore?
I can't, bro. There's no season.
Damn, that blows. I was just talking to.
I want to sound off on that and send it to the conference and be like, "How are you robbing these kids?" But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, it'll be back one day. We'll have sports again.
Well, here's my other question. That kind of back to Alex. How has COVID affected baseball? Like at the professional level, like what is it? Yeah. What big changes have happened?
it exposes the people that don't work. So like so it was hard like early on. Like I had to grind to find a gym. And here's where that's the thing. Like I don't feel bad for myself though. Everyone's in my shoes. So like I said, I called people. Hey, can I borrow some gym equipment? I would like just network my ass off so I can find a way. Because like at the end of the day, like if I don't do it, someone else is gonna find a way. You know what I mean? So it made it really difficult to get work in. Luckily, I was in Missouri at the time, so like where my girlfriend was living, and so there was a good group of pro guys that we would just go and grind, and so it was good. But like when I went to Instructs, you know, we had to self quarantine. Like I first got to Instructs, so I was in Instruction League. They got approved like post COVID. It was like from September to October, and so I was there for like a month, and so I got tested every Monday, and I had to, when I first got there, I had to be in my room for 2 days straight. I couldn't leave. So like, obviously, I don't know, have you guys even had COVID or no?
Yeah, I had it.
Did you have
to? Were you in your room?
I was in this room, in my room, and that was it.
Yeah. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like you kind of go crazy. Like I'm a naturally like busybody. I got to be doing stuff. So like, but like I said, if I was okay with myself, like being alone, like you reflect and you think about all these things, so it's fine, but it just is weird, you know what I mean? Like I'm not used to having to like not be able to find a gym or like go
and
to
like all the controls out of your hands.
Right. So like, and like I said, like it's easy to like I was down about it, you know, but after that settled, I was like, okay, I gotta find a way to like, because if like someone else is gonna find a way, so I gotta find a way, you know what I mean? So it changed like the process of how I went about it, but like my focus was still the same. I still had to find a way to get the work in I needed to get done, and so I think it made people realize though that the game, like, and this goes back to what we've been talking about this entire time, but like it can get taken from you at any time. Yeah. So it was like
little reality check.
When I got to go to Instructs, I was so happy to just be there. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, you take it for granted, dude. Like, and you know, I know you guys appreciate it because like you guys watch me and like sometimes I'm reminded like, damn, I'm actually like going to play professional baseball. So like, you know, you learn to just appreciate the day and appreciate your opportunities. And like I said, it just changed for me, like, you know, thinking about my grandparents and, like, you know, you got to be a little more responsible, like, stuff like that. It was, it's doable, though. Like, I've been proud of sports. Like, we didn't have sports for so long, and it sucked. Like,
yeah, it was so fucking boring.
I saw some article that people were like, COVID's proved that we don't need sports. And I was like, no.
If anything, it proved that we absolutely need them. Yeah.
The opposite. And everyone was just roasting this dude that posted the article.
Good. Rightfully so.
But like you can, yeah, exactly. But you can find a way. Like that's what I love about humanity, bro. Like sports found a way to come together, make these plans of like how we're gonna get it done so that we can have a season, and like it's doable. It's not easy. Like you have these like Lamar Jackson, it sucks, he's out for a game. Like
there's definitely gonna be hiccups,
right? But like, you know, humanity is beautiful, but like we find a way to overcome obstacles, and so it definitely like challenged me in a way that like I said, a lot of personal development happened during COVID because I had nothing else to do.
It really tests you, like, how bad do you want to work out?
And you can only play, like, video games or stuff for so long before you're like, God.
Yeah, well,
I got to go outside or I got to do something. Like,
and I feel like it also gives you every excuse to not work out, to not do this shit. Like, it literally, if it's like, like, I'm not feeling it today, like, okay, COVID, the gym's closed. Like, you could literally just tell yourself any excuse, like, oh, I don't need to work out today because we're all in the same boat. We can't go to the gym. We can't do this. But you got to find it in yourself to go, no, I'm going to go for a run today, or I'm going to go do some fucking push-ups or pull-ups or whatever the fuck you need to do.
Even these NBA players, like, you could tell the guys that packed it in and didn't go hard to find a gym, and then you could tell the guys that did. And these guys are getting paid millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I don't want to bag on Chris Middleton, but he said something like, I didn't pick up a ball in 3 months, where it's like, well, damn, I'm pretty sure every single guy in the Lakers figured out a way to go pick up a ball.
Yeah, exactly.
especially
So it's
at
like
that level, like you have resources at the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it if you want to do it. And I mean, what do you see out of the Bucks? They didn't have a too hot of a playoff run at all.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really cool to see how it's pushing people. Like that, your very first thing you said was you just see how hard people wanted to work, it kind of exposes that, because it really tests you. It opens the door for complacency. It opens the door for I don't need to or I do need to, but I can't. And you can, but how hard do you really want to find it?
Well, and the thing was, like, when it first started, I didn't know how long it was gonna be. So like throughout the whole, and like baseball, we all talk about it in professional baseball, but like people, we have no communication sometimes with the teams. Like they will tell us like very little about like, hey, they'll give us a week heads up, like, hey, you got to be here at this date, and like it's like, oh, okay, like if I had plans, those plans are done.
Yeah.
You know, so like my whole thing was like in the back of my head, I'm like, I gotta be ready. Like if there is a season, if there is this, like
They could
I
call
don't
tomorrow
know.
and I
my
gotta go.
My whole thing is like, you know, if an opportunity comes and I'm not prepared, then I'll have regret. But if I'm prepared for the opportunity, then I know, and I did everything I could. Like I'm okay with whatever the results are.
Yeah, then
you know
let the dice fall.
Right. So like that's where some people were like banking on the fact that like I didn't think that way. Like I was like, you know, we could have a season. I was hoping there was a season, you know, and so and like I said, I was ready for instructs. I had a good instructs, and you know, it wasn't perfect, but like, you know, I made the most of the opportunities I got because I stayed ready, and that's where like. You always got to stay ready for those opportunities. You never know when they're going to come. And so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. No doubt.
It's been a good stream. What time we at right now?
Let me
8:40.
see what my chat bot says. We've been live for an hour 42.
Wow. It's been a
It's been a good one, yeah.
stream. I mean,
Feels like it's flying.
yeah, I know.
for real.
We could go a whole another hour. I don't know. What are we feeling? Do we have a couple more subjects we want to touch on?
I'm good with whatever. Zach, you got anything?
I mean, if we're gonna wrap it up, I just want Alex to kind of tell us the next steps and what to go forward, kind of thing. Like, what are the next steps now?
For me, personally?
Yeah, like maybe you got a little timeline for you. I'm not trying to say timeline to the bigs, but like
I mean, the timeline is not up to me. You know, like,
TBD.
Unfortunately,
obviously.
I don't think about it when it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen in my heart. Like I believe it can happen. That's a thing. I don't worry about that anymore. So like for me, I have a couple of goals that I've set for myself of like what I want to do on the field, and I look at them every day. I think that people. Sorry, I always talk about these life things. And
no, you're doing good, dude. I love it.
You're good, man.
Short, but I realized that like if I don't set a goal, I kind of just get whatever out of life. But when I set a goal and I'm like, okay, how am I going to accomplish this goal? Then I have a focus when I wake up in the day. Like I have something that's like, okay, I got to go do this, and I go do it. So right now I have some personal goals that I want to achieve in my field, and that's like I want to go play in the Arizona Fall League. I want to become a top 30 prospect, and you know, to do that, I have to hit for power. So I have some things that I'm doing. So that's kind of my steps. I'm focusing on how the process of what it's gonna take for me to achieve those goals. So right now I'm not worried. I don't know. I can't tell you when I'm gonna debut. I can't tell you when this or that, or what level I'm gonna be at this year, or this or that. But I'm just working each day to become a better self than I was yesterday, and I feel like I'm on the right path. So
hell yeah,
that's all you can do.
I love it. It's been a great time getting inside the mind.
I got one more question before he goes.
Okay, yeah.
What was the moment that you realized, like, fuck, I'm a big leaguer now?
So the funniest thing is like, so the way spring training works is there's a big league side, so they're in like the big league spring training stadium, and then there's a minor league side. So like, I'm on the minor league side, they're on the big league side. So what happens is like you have a lot of bullpens, and they don't have, you know, the 3 catchers that are there, or however many catchers are in the big league camp, catch all of them because they got other stuff to do.
Yeah.
So they'll take a minor leaguer every once in a while, and you get to go over there and catch. And I remember, you know, I checked the board, like the game plan, and it's like Isola to major league side, and I was like, my
shit.
stomach just dropped. And so I was nervous. I walk over there, you know, and I get there, and the big league pitching coach, Wes Johnson, he's like, I think his name Wes something. Yeah, it's something like that. And he's like, all right, you got Big Mike. And I look up, and Michael Pineda, who's like 6'7", 260, and he's like, hola, or I don't even know, whatever. He says some Spanish. He's like, what's up, Poppy? And I was like, oh, what's going on? And, so, like, that was, like, it, bro. I was, like, around, Sergio Romo, Tyler Clippard. I saw Josh Donaldson. I'm in the locker room, like, next to these guys that I watched my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, Miguel Sano. All the twins, basically. But that was kind of when it, like, hit me, like, damn. I watched all these guys on TV. Donaldson was my guy for a little bit. So it was just, like, I'm right there, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it was surreal, but then once the shock hit, it was like, okay, I gotta go.
Time to grind.
Catch this pen. I gotta catch it. I can't just be like in La La Land,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That's fucking.
Yeah, that's
badass.
gotta be hard to like act
That's
like you've
awesome.
been there. You're like you want to just like be in the galore of you're watching the twins. You're with the twins, the real ones. Not just like single A. Right. You're actually on the major league side for a sec there. It's like you said, it's got to be so surreal.
And what I tell people is like, I had a little bit of that, but at the same time, and people who are competitors understand this, like you guys will understand this, is like, it's natural as like a guy, you like size yourself up. I'm like, I can play here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I got this.
Like you see these guys and yeah, like some of them are just freaks athletically, but then like some of them are like, that's an average looking human being. Like, I can do this. You know what I mean? So like,
I feel like you gotta have that.
You have to. Like,
if you're there and you're like, holy shit, like I'm around all these big leaguers. He's throwing 98. This guy's hitting bombs. Like I shouldn't be here. Like you're gonna be fucked. But if you're in there, like okay, I can fucking do this. Like,
and that's where I said like, just focus on what you gotta do, and you'll be fine. But if you get caught up, like, I'm at the big
yeah,
because you have those thoughts. You have those thoughts.
Don't let the moment get too big for
like
you.
You said, you
That's
just
sweet.
Focus on the task at hand, and then go. But thank you guys for having me.
Oh yeah,
Also,
definitely
also,
again.
This is badass.
awesome,
yes,
bro.
for sure.
Hell yeah, a
Loved it, dude.
little tap inside the mind of a future major leaguer.
Oh my gosh.
And
From the city
yeah,
of
anybody
Lincoln
that
on
watched
back.
this stream, I mean, we talked a lot today. Just hey, if you're feeling down, never give up. I hope you can take some of the principles we went over today and apply it to your life.
Reach
I
out
know
to
I sure
someone.
am.
If you
Yeah.
need help, reach out.
Yeah, reach out to
Facts.
fucking anyone. If you fucking even need to reach out to us, or
No
Yeah,
doubt.
dude,
actually,
hit
I
us
don't
up
think our
in the
Twitter
chat.
handles are on there, but
We'll go back over this shit all the time. Like
yeah,
this is enlightening for everybody, and everybody's got to go through this. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, and keep tuning in every Wednesday 7 p.m.
yeah. Catch us on YouTube, Unscripted Podcast. All of our episodes are up there. This one will be up tomorrow. We might. I mean, sometimes we do 2 a week, sometimes we don't. But Wednesday's consistent.
Yeah, every Wednesday for sure, and we'll keep you posted on our socials for others. And yeah, you guys have a great rest of your night.
Jared Kelty said putting Lincoln on the map.
That's fucking right.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Till next time.